Grief. You know, as humans, we're all going to go through grief. How we go through it, that's up to us. But we're all going to have deaths, losses, change of jobs, maybe marital issues, or relationship breakups, or just losses of certain things in our life. Even if we move to another place, we can go through grief. So I think it's important to share a couple minutes about what that process is, so that you know that you're probably normal and it's going to happen to you. I remember I was in seminary when one of my fathers died, and I was actually studying grief as I was going through grief, and it didn't change it one bit. I still had to experience it because it's not a brain thing, it's a heart thing. So that's what grief is. Grief is a normal process of dealing with a big painful thing. So the big painful thing happens, and then grief allows us to go through a process to accept the big painful thing. Okay, and we go through stages in grief. So I'm going to walk through those really quickly, and you might be able to see where you are, and you're going to fluctuate. It's not a linear 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of like, this is kind of the way it works, and you might be here one day, you might be here one day, you might go back to here, you might be done with here and actually stay here. It's like that. So it's way more organic than linear. Okay, so first you're going to go through shock, and that can be almost a lightning bolt experience. That could be, oh my gosh, and you know, that person's gone, the car accident happened, my boss said I'm fired. Whatever it is, the shock is that almost instantaneous, I can't believe this is happening, this is whoa, it's, you know, that it's shock. Okay, and then, you know, what can happen is denial. No, they didn't die. No, I didn't lose my job. This isn't happening to me. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. And then you go through denial. Now denial literally can last decades, okay, of processing a loss or a painful event in your world. Okay, that can happen. You want to get out of denial as soon as possible, because if it happened, and you want to move towards acceptance. Okay, so you go through shock, you go through denial. Okay, and then you probably do some anger. You're mad that this happened to you. You're mad that this occurred. Even if you did it to yourself, you can still be mad at yourself. Or if other things happened, or this person, you know, randomly took their life, yeah, you're going to be angry. You're going to have feelings of anger. Very normal. Now, anger can last for years if people don't process well. Okay, that's possible. So as you move through anger, you might hit bargaining. Bargaining is basically, if this didn't happen, then this bad thing wouldn't have happened. If they would have had better tires, the car accident wouldn't have happened. If the other person wasn't drunk, if I would have been there 10 minutes earlier. And it's the if game. And if you're in that part, that's normal. Write your ifs down, process them out, you know, get support, do that. But that's the bargaining phase of grief. And then as you move through bargaining, you're going to hit this place called sadness. And it's not like depression. It's just kind of like you're down that this has happened to you. You're down that this person is gone forever. You know, you're down that these experiences are not going to be in your life anymore. You're down that the holidays are coming and they're not going to be sitting in their favorite chair. You're down because you may never hug that child again. Normal stuff. Allow yourself to feel sad. And grieving allows you to feel, but you feel very strongly, okay? And then the last is acceptance. And acceptance is you accept the painful reality for what it is, more like factually this occurred, and this is now a photograph in your movie, in your life movie. This is a real photograph. You can stay with the photograph or you can move into your movie, but you start accepting this happened and beginning to integrate this into your life as kind of a permanent acceptance of this loss. So those are the stages of grief that you're going to go through. Some people have grief because they're anticipating future events. You know, they're going to win the lottery, or this business deal is going to come through, and all of a sudden, boom, it doesn't. And they anticipate it, so there's loss about that, things that maybe could have been. There's grief in the moment. You know, you lose a friendship, someone moves away. There's things that happen, you know, just day-to-day kind of stuff that can create some grief. Now, some people delay their grief. You know, they grieve things of abuse or abandonment or neglect or family of origin, you know, decades later. So there's, you know, there can be that where it's from the past, and you might need to do some grief work there. So, you know, take a moment, look over your life, maybe even just look over the last year. Have you had some losses, and how are you doing with that? Okay? Now, if you need help and you want to talk to a counselor, you can always call my office at 719-278-3708 at Heart to Heart Counseling Center, because we have people that you can talk to. Okay? Move through grief. But you have to acknowledge your grief, acknowledge the loss, acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge that, hey, grief is normal and I'm just a normal person going through a process. And try to feel what you're feeling. Now, if you have challenges with feelings, I would recommend the book Emotional Fitness. That could really help you feel your feelings. Talk about grief, so important. There's grief support groups all over the country. There's counselors you can talk to. There's friends. There's also family members that you can talk to that maybe help you. And if you really need professional help, get it. You're worth that, okay? So you want to maybe set yourself up so that you are grieving well. We're all going to grieve. I've had griefs in my life. I've had losses in my life, and you're going to have it. So knowing that you're normal is why I want to share this with you. Knowing what the process is why I want to share this with you. And if you need to reach out to us, we're here for you. We want to hear what pain and grief you're in. And it might be the loss of a marriage. It could be a spouse betrayal. It could be all kinds of things that have happened to you. We want to hear. We want to help.